Hello. Today we will uncover the secrets of 15 secret gay actors in Hollywood. The faces behind the spotlight, the irresistible roles, but carrying a secret that could destroy their careers in the blink of an eye. There was a time when simply being openly gay could end a promising future instantly. Many of them had to live double lives, marrying for contracts, signing silence agreements, and even undergoing absurd conversion therapies just to hide their true selves. Get ready to dive into shocking, jaw-dropping stories, hidden love affairs, and mysterious deaths. We'll talk about actors you once believed were the epitome of masculinity, but who, in reality, have been living a completely different life under the facade Hollywood imposed on them. And if you think you know it all, wait until we reveal the last name, a shock that has never quite left Hollywood. Before we begin, if you love content that reveals truths and untold secrets, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a new video. A like from you will help the channel reach more. A star from the UK is breaking all the molds with an elegance and class that are rare to find. Jonathan Bailey is living proof that times are changing, though still slowly. Trained in Shakespearean theater, Jonathan rose to global fame as Anthony Bridgerton in Netflix's hit series Bridgerton. Portraying a powerful, refined gentleman, he captured millions of hearts with fiery romantic scenes on screen. In the public eye, he is the new symbol of masculinity and allure. But what few know is that in real life, Jonathan is gay. Unlike the stars of previous decades, Jonathan didn't hide the truth. However, his journey was far from easy. In the early years of his career, he was advised to stay silent about his sexuality to avoid losing out on romantic lead roles. Agents and producers claimed the public wouldn't believe in a heterosexual romance played by a gay actor. A long-standing Hollywood bias. But Jonathan didn't back down. He chose to live authentically, refusing to pretend for society's gaze. When Bridgerton aired, he publicly came out, and instead of being shunned, he was warmly embraced. A victory not just for him, but for the millions out there yearning to live true to themselves. Elliot Page, the transgender actor formerly known as Ellen Page, challenged Hollywood with a truth that could no longer be hidden. With talent recognized through works like Juno, Inception, and X-Men, Days of Future Past, he captivated audiences with his deep and emotional performances, even while grappling with the conflict between his public identity and his true self. In 2014, still introduced as a woman, Elliot came out as gay in a moving speech at the Human Rights Campaign conference, one of the most heart-touching speeches of the decade. But that wasn't the whole story. In December 2020, he shocked the world by officially coming out as a transgender man, a declaration that not only changed his personal life, but also reshaped how Hollywood views transgender artists. Despite the public's positive reception, Elliot's actions stand as a testament to remarkable courage. In interviews, he shared the pressure of having to play female roles, the anxiety, and the sadness of living in a body that didn't represent who he truly was. Behind the photos was a yearning to be seen as his authentic self. After transitioning, Elliot not only maintained his career, but also grew stronger, landing a lead role in the Umbrella Academy as a transgender character. He's not just an actor. He's a powerful symbol in the LGBTQ+ community, inspiring others not with words, but through the way he lives authentically. Ricky Martin, the Latin music legend who lit up global stages with his explosive energy and irresistible charisma, is a symbol not only in music but in global pop culture. With hits like Livin' La Vida Loca, She Bangs, and La Copa de la Vida, he took the world by storm in the late 90s and early 2000s. But behind that glamour was a silence weighing heavily on him. Ricky became trapped in the image the industry created for him. The seductive Latin man, the sex symbol who drove the world wild. Any rumors about his sexuality were quickly shut down by his management team. In interviews, he skillfully dodged questions about it, maintaining the image of the perfect man in the public eye while silently struggling with his inner truth. The turning point came in 2010, when Ricky Martin shocked the world with an open letter posted on his personal website, courageously declaring that he was gay. The statement was not flowery, not evasive. It was direct, honest, and liberating. It was a moment that not only redefined Ricky Martin's image, but also ignited hope for millions living in silence. With sincerity and deep emotion, Ricky Martin shared that after years of inner turmoil and struggle, he was finally ready to live authentically. He confessed to having hidden his identity out of fear, insecurity, and external pressure. But what he could no longer bear was the denial of his right to live with dignity, both for himself and for his children. This revelation sent shockwaves through pop culture. Some were shocked. Others said, "We already knew." But what truly moved people was the overwhelming wave of support from all corners of the world. Ricky didn't just come out. He immediately became an advocate for LGBTQ rights. He used his platform to condemn discrimination, prejudice, and violence, the very things that had kept him trapped in fear for so many years. Wentworth Miller became a global star when he portrayed Michael Scofield, the genius who breaks out of prison in the hit series Prison Break. With his sharp gaze, muscular physique, and intelligence in every line, Miller became the epitome of masculinity, captivating millions in the 2000s. But while audiences were drawn to his powerful role, Wentworth lived in an entirely different reality. One filled with pain, fear, and loneliness as he continually denied his true self. For many years, he publicly denied rumors about his sexuality, skillfully dodging questions about his personal life. The pressure to maintain the image of the perfect straight guy was overwhelming, and he had to force himself to live that lie, not out of weakness, but out of fear of the harsh judgment from an industry that doesn't forgive difference. In 2013, a turning point came when he was invited to a film festival in Russia, a country that had just passed a law discriminating against LGBTQ people. Miller declined. But it wasn't just a simple refusal. It was an open, powerful, and emotional letter. In it, he declared that he was gay and could not accept going to a country where people like him were attacked, tortured, and even killed for daring to love someone of the same sex. The letter quickly spread, and his actions were hailed as a courageous punch against silence and discrimination. By 2020, Miller made headlines again when he declared that he would no longer take heterosexual roles, because he didn't want to contribute to an industry that frequently silences the voices of the LGBTQ community. The statement sparked controversy, but for those who understood the pain of living in a facade, his decision was a powerful awakening. Jim Parsons became a global phenomenon with his portrayal of Sheldon Cooper in The Big Bang Theory, the quirky, perfectionist physicist who captivated audiences with his unique charm. The role earned him 4 Emmy Awards, a Golden Globe, and made him one of the highest-paid TV actors in the world. But behind the laughter and spotlight lies the story of a man who lived cautiously, steadfastly, and with great self-awareness. Throughout most of the series, Jim Parsons chose to live authentically, but quietly. He didn't hide his truth, but he didn't flaunt it either. That quiet confidence is what has made him more admired than ever. For Jim, coming out wasn't about seeking attention, but about living authentically. A noble choice in an industry full of pressure, where authenticity is often a luxury. He proved that you can still be yourself, still reach the top, without sacrificing your true self. Since then, Jim has taken on projects that reflect his values and beliefs. A prime example is his role in The Normal Heart, a film about the AIDS epidemic, where he portrayed an emotional gay activist. This role allowed audiences to see a dramatic, profound side of the man known for his wit and intelligence. Zachary Quinto, with his somber gaze and cool demeanor, captivated audiences through his role as the villain Sylar in Heroes and as Spock in the Star Trek reboot. But what few know is that behind that spotlight was a deep internal struggle between the desire to live authentically and the fear of being rejected. In 2011, after the heartbreaking suicide of Jamie Rodemeyer, a teenager who was bullied for being gay, Zachary made an important decision. In an open letter, he publicly came out as gay and declared that he could no longer remain silent while young people were desperate for role models to look up to. The response was quick and powerful. Zachary not only became an inspiration for the LGBTQ+ community, but also earned respect from all corners. Unlike many who feared for their careers, his career didn't stagnate. On the contrary, it expanded with roles in film, television, and theater that showcased depth and range. He also became a respected and influential social activist. Neil Patrick Harris is a multi-talented artist, famous for his acting, comedy, and hosting skills. From Doogie Howser, M.D., to his role as Barney Stinson in How I Met Your Mother, or playing himself in Harold and Kumar. But what truly sets Neil apart is how he faced prejudice while playing a character completely opposite to his true self. For many years, Neil neither confirmed nor denied his sexuality. Everything changed in 2006 when he openly declared that he was gay, at the height of his career. He shared that he was happy to live and love authentically. Off-screen, Neil has a long-lasting and admired relationship with his partner, the talented chef David Burtka. His career was never affected after coming out. On the contrary, it flourished. Neil not only proved that a gay actor can play heterosexual roles, but he also surpassed expectations, inspiring others and redefining what it means to be a true performer. Sir Ian McKellen is not only an iconic figure in British theatre, but also a pioneering warrior for LGBTQ+ rights. With a foundation in Shakespearean plays, he reached global heights through roles like Magneto in X-Men and Gandalf in The Lord of the Rings. But what few know is that for many decades, McKellen had to keep his sexuality a secret, not out of shame, but as a survival strategy in an industry still rife with prejudice. In 1988, when the UK government was preparing to pass Section 28, a law banning the promotion of homosexuality in education, McKellen could no longer stay silent. On a radio broadcast, he boldly declared that he was gay, without hesitation, without fear. From that moment, he became a beacon of hope for the LGBTQ+ community. Ian founded charitable organizations, confronted politicians, and visited schools to fight against prejudice. And he continued his illustrious artistic career, proving that talent and authenticity are not in conflict, but two sides of the same glory. With his flawless looks and refined demeanor, Matt Bomer embodies the modern man. Charming, intelligent, and incredibly captivating. He gained fame for his role as Neil Caffrey in White Collar, and shined even brighter with roles in Magic Mike, The Normal Heart, and The Sinner. However, what makes Matt even more admired is the timing and manner in which he came out, at the peak of his career. For many years, he kept his private life away from the spotlight, not out of shame, but because the industry was still cautious about casting gay actors in romantic roles. Still, those within the industry knew that he had a happy family with PR expert Simon Halls and their 3 children born via surrogate. In 2012, when receiving an award for his contributions in the fight against HIV, Matt publicly shared his love for Simon and their children. No grand declarations, no fanfare, just a simple thank you, but one filled with immense strength. The miracle is, instead of stepping back, his career became stronger than ever. His role in The Normal Heart, playing a gay man with AIDS, earned him a Golden Globe and solidified his position as a symbol of sincerity and the power to overcome prejudice. Share this incredible story, hit like, and subscribe to the channel to explore more inspiring journeys and the strength to break through bias. Luke Evans is one of the rare cases where his strong, masculine presence on screen contrasts with the gentleness and authenticity of his personal life. Born in Wales, he started his career on the musical theater stage and then made his way to Hollywood with his powerful voice, regal demeanor, and classic good looks. From Dracula Untold, Beauty and the Beast, Fast and Furious, to The Hobbit, Luke built an image of the ideal masculine icon that audiences easily assumed was heterosexual. But contrary to that stereotype, Luke Evans has never hidden the fact that he is gay. While in the London theater scene, he lived naturally and comfortably, feeling no need to conceal his identity. However, when he moved to Hollywood, warnings began to surface. Stay quiet. Don't come out, because it could impact his career. Luke chose to remain silent for a while, not out of fear, but to protect himself. Yet he never lied, never fabricated a fake romance, and refused to trade the truth for fame. For Luke, silence was a form of stance. He didn't let his sexuality define his entire identity. In interviews, he remained calm and asserted. He is an actor. No need for any other labels. Colman Domingo is the embodiment of resilience, talent, and integrity, a gay black man who has overcome countless invisible barriers to rise among the finest actors of his generation. Born in Philadelphia, Colman built his career with unwavering dedication and an unshakable belief in his own identity. From Fear the Walking Dead, Euphoria, to Rustin, he consistently brings emotional depth and sharpness to every role he takes on. What makes him stand out is how he refuses to let his sexuality become an obstacle. In an industry where black men have struggled to be given opportunities, being gay is almost an added layer of challenge. But Colman has never let that stop him from shining. He doesn't flaunt it, nor does he hide it. He simply lives authentically, and that presence in itself is a political act. Married to designer Raul Domingo, Colman speaks about his personal life casually, without embellishment. For him, living authentically doesn't require bold declarations, just inner peace and quiet pride. He proves that sometimes the most revolutionary thing is simply being normal. Dan Amboyer may not be a household name, but his journey has played a significant role in shifting Hollywood's perception of truth. He first caught attention playing Prince William in William and Catherine, a royal romance, and appeared in series like Younger and The Blacklist. With his good looks and polished style, Dan was often cast as the ideal man. So, when he came out as gay in 2017, the entire industry was taken aback. That decision was not only surprising, but also a pivotal moment in affirming that authenticity should not be a barrier in art. Dan chose not to live in the shadows anymore. He didn't want to remain trapped in the image others had imposed on him. With courage and sincerity, Dan Amboyer rewrote the definition of a Hollywood prince, not someone who hides to please the public, but someone who dares to live authentically, even knowing the cost might be high. The response from the community was positive, and his colleagues in the industry praised his honesty. Dan became a role model for young actors who stand at the crossroads between their careers and the freedom to live authentically. He shared the internal struggles, the weight of concealment, but also the happiness that came from living true to himself. For him, the important thing is that one day, LGBTQ+ actors won't have to live in fear or make public declarations. They will be able to exist in the industry without fearing judgment. Tom Hulce, who made a lasting impact on audiences with his portrayal of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart in the Oscar-winning film Amadeus, has had a challenging journey. His emotional performance catapulted him into the ranks of the most prominent theatrical talents of his generation. However, what few know is that behind the fame and artistic success, Tom Hulce had to conceal a core part of himself. He was a gay man, but chose to live in silence. Unlike some of his colleagues who chose to live openly, Hulce kept his private life hidden and avoided discussing his romantic relationships. Rumors about his sexuality were constantly circulated by the media, but he remained steadfast in his silence, unwilling to let the public's curiosity interfere with his life. It wasn't until 2008, when he was no longer a major Hollywood figure, that Tom Hulce openly acknowledged he was gay. This coming out was not accompanied by fanfare, but was rather a simple acknowledgement, almost like a casual, "Yeah, so what?" Though this declaration came late, it highlighted an important truth. Hulce's silence wasn't because he was afraid to face the truth, but because of the pressures in the industry where openly gay actors often struggled to land heterosexual roles. After Amadeus, Hulce continued his acting career but shifted his focus behind the scenes. He became a renowned stage producer, winning a Tony Award for Outstanding Plays, and continued to contribute to the creation of diverse stories. His contributions not only left a lasting impact on the industry, but also brought about significant changes in how diversity is viewed in the arts. Wilson Cruz is not only a talented actor, but also a symbol in the history of LGBTQ+ representation on American television. Born in New York to a Puerto Rican immigrant family, Wilson faced a dual challenge as both a gay man and a Latino in a society full of prejudice. From a young age, he realized that his very existence was an act of defiance. It was with this courage that Wilson became the first openly gay actor to play a gay character during primetime on American TV, breathing life into Ricky Vasquez in My So-Called Life in 1994. At that time, having a young gay character, experiencing racism and real-life conflicts portrayed so authentically, was unprecedented. Wilson not only acted, but also lived fully with his role, which deeply impacted millions of viewers and paved the way for more LGBTQ+ stories to be accepted on screen. However, this exposure came with painful consequences. Wilson was kicked out of his home by his father when he came out, facing financial struggles and emotional instability. But he never gave up. Instead, Wilson used his platform to fight for inclusion, dignity, and equality. Over time, he established himself as a powerful voice within the LGBTQ+ community, both on and off screen. Wilson not only acted in projects like Party of Five, Star Trek Discovery, and 13 Reasons Why, but also became actively involved in social causes, advocating for LGBTQ+ youth and combating systemic racism in the entertainment industry. Rupert Everett is one of the clearest examples of how truth can come at a high price in Hollywood. Born in the UK, Everett gained worldwide fame for his unique charm and outstanding talent, especially through roles in films like Another Country, where he portrayed a young gay man in an oppressive British society, and My Best Friend's Wedding, where he shone alongside Julia Roberts, becoming a LGBTQ+ icon in the 90s film industry. However, what few know is that Rupert Everett was one of the first actors to openly come out as gay in the 1980s, at a time when doing so truly meant the end of a promising career in Hollywood. Unlike many colleagues who chose to keep their sexuality secret to maintain their image, Everett decided to live authentically and paid a heavy price for it. After coming out, he revealed in several interviews that the offers for lead roles began to disappear. Directors and producers stopped offering him the romantic, charismatic roles he once played so naturally and passionately. The actor even mentioned that if he had kept his sexuality a secret, he could have become a star on par with Hugh Grant. Despite facing significant challenges, Rupert Everett continued to prove himself as a great talent in the industry, and his determination to live authentically paved the way for future gay actors to freely express themselves in a more open Hollywood environment. With these individuals, you can clearly see the strength and resilience in their journey to live authentically, despite the pressure and consequences from society. The next characters will be written in a similar style. Share this video, hit like, and subscribe to the channel to discover more powerful and inspiring stories. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.